order at 4:30, it looks like 3. Do I read this part, the remote attendance part?
I would just mention that it's in the agenda.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and we call it to order at 4:33 for the Personnel Policy and Public Relations Committee. And just remember, remote attendance pursuant to the State Executive Order 2020-07, 2020-18, which temporarily suspend the in-person presence requirements and eliminates the limitation on remote access of the Illinois Open Meetings Act due to the COVID pandemic. We'll leave it at that. So the first order would be to approve the agenda. Is everybody okay with the agenda that Rick's put together?
I'll just make a slight change that you're going to be running the meeting instead of me.
Okay, we can do that. So I'm going to
I'll make a motion to accept it with the changes.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Yes.
Carl, you're the only other person here.
I apologize.
Okay, so we've got a first and a. Are you seconding?
Second. Yes, sir. Second.
Okay, so we've got a first and we've got a second. Do we have a discussion? If not, I'm going to entertain them, or I'll ask all those in favor.
Got to do it one by one according
That's
to.
right, one by one.
My question is, do we have a quorum to actually vote?
Yes, you can't take final action, but the committee size is 5. You can't take the final action in committee anyway. So yes, you do have a quorum.
Okay, so Samantha,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. That passed. And so we're going to move on to the minutes. Everybody had the opportunity to take a look at the minutes from the last meeting on October 1st?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I will entertain a motion to accept them as presented.
I will make a motion to accept them with there's just a minor spelling.
Okay.
On the patron ban appeal, just says building, like building is spelled wrong.
Okay.
And that's it. And then so I'll make a motion with the change suggested.
Okay. Carl?
Second. Yes. Wait. Am I seconding or am I guessing?
You're seconding.
Seconding. I apologize.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Carl? Michael? Yes. All right. That passes. Okay. Rick, do we have any public comments?
None.
No. Okay. And do we have any written communications from the public?
None.
Okay.
Well, you did. It's probably worth noting that there were several emails of thanks for the decision that was made at the special meeting last week to start enforcing the masks requirement more vehemently. I had a lot of those.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know if my connection's really bad, but everything was real slow right then. So, okay. Okay, then on to new business, the collection development policy, and we're going to go ahead and take an action on that today, correct?
Yeah, I've included the current one and the recommended changes. So what I've recommended for a couple things I've recommended for change, I'm going to share the screen with you.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Okay, so I think that we should, this paragraph right here, I'm recommending that we strike it and we can look at these individually later. I think that there's a lot in the Library Bill of Rights, freedom to view and freedom to read. And I want the board to be, if they really are adopting that, I want them to know what they're getting into. And that, the other thing that I've always been uncomfortable with, and this would get, would get me probably drummed out of ILA and ALA, if anybody hears my opinion here. So the request for reconsideration of library material, that's how a patron who is maybe uncomfortable with something we have in our collection tells us that they're uncomfortable.
Okay.
I find it to be, it assumes that the person is doing it in bad faith, and I don't assume that, because it says, let me show you what it says right now. Let's see, we've got, so what's your complaint? But then I've read it all or I've not read it all. I don't think that's if you have a face-to-face meeting with the person in a conversation, that can come out in the conversation. But what do you believe is the theme or intent of the material? I mean, there are people that may not, it's not an English test, and I think they can have legitimate concerns about materials in our collection without having to answer these English literature type questions. I in fact would be willing to consider getting rid of the form altogether and just being open to verbal ones, and we can document those by an interview with the patron. I think that we have a good process for handling them. So how we do it is good. We have an ad hoc committee, and they review the complaint and report back to the city librarian, who then makes the decision. I think that's great. I just find the form unfriendly. And let me give you an example of one challenge that we librarians tend to lump all challenges together and say they're all bad. Well, I had a challenge about some material it was in the young adult section. This was at my last library, and in conversation with the person that was complaining, it was a parent, and they showed me what their concern was in this particular book, and I thought, I kind of got it, and I said, what if we put this in the adult section? What if we just moved this to the adult section? And she was fine with that. She was completely okay with it. It's not like she was trying to get the book banned. She just didn't think it was appropriate for teenagers. And I think that can be a very reasonable approach. But I don't know if it's a huge deal. We've never gotten one of these in my 6 years, but it's always kind of, the wording on it has always kind of bothered me.
Would you, if somebody came to you in person and asked you about a particular something, then would you put it in writing, or would you have some kind of notation about it, you yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Especially if they weren't satisfied with where we landed in our conversation, then I would make I would fill out something like that form and give it to the ad hoc committee.
Yeah, because I would say yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And I think that you communicating to them your reasoning ensures that they understand that you understand them. Does that make sense? Like you're reiterating what they meant.
And the other complaints that I've had, and I haven't had any on materials at Decatur Public Library, but this was at my library in Iowa also. The other complaints I've had, the people just wanted to be heard. That's it. They wanted somebody to listen to their concern, and that was it. That was enough. I listened to them, had a conversation with them. They said, "Thanks for your time."
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I would
hand them a form if they say, "I've got a complaint about this book," and we say, "Fill this out." I mean, I just don't like that approach.
Yeah. So would you still want this section in there, but you'd want to say, like, come to us, or like, how would you want it to say, like, please reach out or please speak to the city librarian if you have a request or reconsideration?
Yeah, I would probably put Yeah.
Well, this paragraph says, any citizen may request that the library reconsider materials that are part of the collection. Requests must be in writing. So you would have to redo that, probably that paragraph, correct?
Something like, let me see if I can.
So I mean, you'd obviously take out the second sentence. 'Cause the first sentence still is accurate. It's not indicating any.
Right.
So yeah, basically it would be that sentence.
So,
See, library and
So I mean, pretty much,
library and upon receipt of appoint an ad hoc committee.
that's what you do anyway. So everything else is just removing that sentence.
we've only had a formal complaint about a program, and that's how we handled it, was through an ad hoc committee. We've never had one about this is about the things on the shelves. And I do think it's good to tell people how to do it. And I could probably put some language in there about how to contact the city librarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get that language in there. I don't, let's see. Yeah, I'll put up some for I mean, if this is what you guys are okay with, I will put up some language in there before the next meeting, before the full board meeting, just adding how to contact the city librarian.
Yeah, and I think it does say that you would report back to the board, but it doesn't mention that you'd report back to the patron. So
It says in writing, doesn't it say in writing or something?
but I thought let me look at it again, because I thought
It said the complainant will be notified in writing of the librarian's decision.
oh yeah, okay.
So, yeah, either you'd make them a phone call or send them or you would actually send them a formal letter.
I would maybe just move that sentence up to like the city librarian will report to the board. I guess that's where I was kind of confused, because it was like, we're going to it's almost like you're reporting to the complainant after you're reporting to the board. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that one would just go up above it.
Well,
We could
the way that you described your last situation is that you handled it directly with that individual and then it was done. You didn't take it to an ad hoc committee.
Or you reserve the right to discuss with.
And I think if we can resolve it just through a conversation, that's the best way to do it. And if not, then it becomes a formal complaint and we go to the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Let's see.
Oh, this one.
Where the hell you been, dog? Ah, nice. Fair enough, fair enough.
How's that?
I don't know.
Carl, you got something else going on over there?
Apologies.
That's all right.
Okay, so I moved that sentence up, and I'll put in something about about how to. I don't want to put in, if it's a policy, you don't want to put in a personal email. I'll
Yeah.
get city librarian at Decatur Library.
Yes, or or phone number, or I don't know.
Yep.
And then under principles, you're taking out the word library. Is that correct? Is that there's a line through it? So I'm assuming that's.
No, I just need to find out how to fix that. I can show you the trouble. I just need to get it to Matt to fix it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not the most adept at editing PDFs.
I might
The
be
Word
able to do it.
The Word document, I know how to do it. A PDF and the strike throughs are a mystery to me.
Okie dokie. Now, do we need to take an action on this as recommendation to the board?
I did
That
have
we
one more
recommend it to
thing.
the board, or are we leaving this?
We're taking it to the full board, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
so I have two questions. So first, can you go through and find the library when we were talking about the library and capitalize the library if we're talking about our library?
Library.
I don't know if we want to have a separate section for like EDI.
Yeah, that's I mean, there's some language in here, but I don't know whether it's strong enough. That was the thing I was going to point out to you guys. I mean, we've got language about that the policy, and it should say that the collection reflects the diverse needs of the community. But it also says that we not just our community, where is it here? We also seek to provide awareness of cultures, traditions, and ideas not represented in our local community.
Yes.
But if there's if we want to strengthen that, and honestly, this is one of the things that the diversity committee will be taking a look at, and we can go back and do that at any time. It's but state law says that we have to review this once every 2 years, and this is our last chance.
So
So until we had some specific language for that, I just wanted to get it at least in front of you guys.
so could we at least put in
Goodness.
something about that we will review our collection to work towards a more equitable, diverse, and inclusive collection? Does that sound accurate? Because
Yeah, I will put regularly, because I don't know that it's a one-time thing.
yeah, right. We're just spitballing here, guys.
Where are you putting that?
Let me share my screen and I'll show you what I'm doing. Because I'm putting it in as we speak.
Yeah, because I didn't know where you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I was just suggesting it. I would say principles.
Oh. Under principles, I got you.
Okay.
Regularly, or you already said regularly.
Sure.
Regularly review the collection to ensure the collection.
Reflects, yeah.
You did say the collection twice in one sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, we kind of say that up here.
I know, but
Tell me again. I mean, I heard your language, that Samantha, that you came up with, but I didn't get all the way in.
It reflects the diversity, equity, or ensure it reflects diversity, equity, and inclusion. I mean, I'm thinking of like specifically the EDI community or committee, but we're also making sure we don't have, that we include more diverse, equitable, and inclusive titles.
Well, I think that says that. Review the collection.
How's that sound?
Right? What you're saying, Susan, what he has there, correct?
I think so. I think what he has there, reflects titles or anything. It says review the collection.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah.
Well, wait a minute. What about this? The library collections, as much as possible, should reflect the diversity and needs, interests, perspectives, and backgrounds in the community. Are we restating the same thing?
Yeah,
Where are you seeing?
it's a valid
That's
question.
at the top line.
So I'm thinking more of an active, so I'm thinking more of an active policy versus so the purpose up there is saying our collection we're striving for diversity, but how are we going to do it? Or,
So what if we just got rid of, what if we did?
I was going to say,
Yeah, I agree there's some redundancy there, but what if let me see. if we did this?
I don't know if this has to be changed up there, right?
Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes,
there, take that out and then,
there
yeah,
you go. See?
yes. Yes, that's, I think that's good.
that kind of updates it.
Mhm.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, now let me ask, and I'm going to do a Samantha on the, so you have the library, or Decatur Public Library. I mean, what, do we need to be consistent in all of those? You know what I mean?
Yes. That's where I saw it.
Probably.
So it would be the library would be just the Capitol Library.
So
Yeah,
get rid of. Decatur
I could
Public.
do a search for library and catch all those.
Yes.
Okay.
Carl, thoughts?
Might be kind of boring to watch.
I think it's positive. It looks clean. It's a nice document. And when it comes to the collection policy, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so are we done with this document now?
As long as you guys are okay. I got those two little things to change, like put in some contact information for city librarian and look for all instances of the library and get those capitalized and just make it consistent.
Okay,
Are you also suggesting we get rid of the patron request for materials purchase or form or?
It's rarely used, to be honest with you. I mean, there are other ways that that patrons do that.
I mean, I would just say, please, email us, or
is there a form online?
There's a way that they can do that. Yes, there's a place that they come to. There's a handful of us that get all of those.
because I would just say like we could get rid of that form as well. I mean, and they can request
Yeah.
them by phone or email or
Yeah.
online.
Right. Some people just walk up and say,
Right.
"Hey, can you buy these?" And some people.
Well, shouldn't we have some sort of documentation though that they've asked for that? I don't know, just,
Yeah,
Well,
well,
Nick-
we do ask if do you want us to let you know when it comes in? And so,
'Cause I mean-
so anything that a patron asks for, we order?
No.
Okay.
not
So-
necessarily.
I
I mean, if it
guess-
doesn't fit, again, if it doesn't fit our collection policy, we're not, I mean, if they want us to order all their textbooks for the year, we're not going to do that.
Well, if they come in and ask you for something and somebody doesn't remember it, and then the patron comes in and says, well, I asked you for this, but I don't have anything in
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
the library.
let me
This is the,
let me find out for sure how it's working on the ground, because I'm told that form is occasionally used, but not all that often, that they've got another sort of informal way of approaching it. But I don't know exactly all the nuts and bolts of it, because, this gives you the option to be contacted.
right.
This is the form that's included.
Well, and
Which
when
to me is a big part of it. I mean, I don't want you to just have it for the collection. I want to know when I can check it out.
when I lived in Indy, like it was on the website, you could request titles and then it would literally, you could hold it. So
That would be easy.
That's probably the best way to do it, yeah.
That would be easy enough to do.
yeah, so I would say if we can, I mean, you guys have got like the request, like the projects and all of those buttons and stuff.
Right, but the how is, I mean, there's policy and then there's procedure.
Right, exactly.
And that's procedure, and we just need to work out a way of doing it. But I think that the online form is the best way to do it.
Okay.
For most
Except if somebody comes in.
people. For
I
most
guess
people.
I just meant, so this is just like an addendum that's not even, I don't see it in the policy that it's being referenced. So it was just added as kind of an addendum.
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so.
Okay, then we won't worry about it then. We don't,
I could just unattach it when I present it to the full board.
okay. Sounds good. All right, then I will make a motion with the changes requested to present this to the full board.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Gotta go one at a time.
Oh, that's right. Why do I keep doing that? Well, first of all, is there any further discussion? No? Okay, great. Okay, Samantha? Carl?
Aye.
Susan?
Yes.
Okay, the ayes have it, and we will present that to the full board on the next meeting. Okay, so on to the art and artifacts display policy.
I have no recommended changes. I used to think that we should take the board out of it, but it's actually pretty nice for me to have the board in it. I can say this has to go before the board. You know, they'll bring me something that they want to be hung or displayed at the library. And usually just by saying this has to go before the board, it stops there. So I have no recommended changes, but you do have to review it every few years. So
Okay. Anybody have any ideas or any more, or you want to go with Rick and just leave it the way that it is?
Yeah, I think it looks fine.
It seems fine to me if it's,
I
Okay.
mean, maybe just the library thing again, so just capitalize library when appropriate.
I'll put a note on that.
The library is permanent, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so do I need a motion then to accept this and then we'll present it at the board? Does somebody want to make that motion?
It'll be a motion to recommend to the full board.
Correct.
Then
I'll move.
okay,
I'll move.
Susan?
I'll second.
Second? Okay, any other discussion? Okay, Samantha?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Thank you. Susan?
Yes.
All right, the yeses have it, and it'll be presented to the board at the next meeting. Okay, personnel updates.
Yeah, we advertised for, we've got funding from another source to have a part-time library social worker. Which we advertised, and that closes in a couple of days. I've got a couple of applicants, so we'll be taking a look at that next week. Robert and I are putting the final touches on job descriptions for library administrative aide and for library administrative secretary, the job descriptions, but we've advertised for the secretary. We've got 4 applicants so far. I may extend it. We're going to close it Friday. I may extend it just to get a bigger pool. And we've got some other resources we're looking at. And we are looking at promoting one of the library clerk 1s to clerk 2 per civil service policy. We don't have a person in mind, but we're making that available. We will also be naming a halftime page any day. Well, we've named one, we've selected one, and she'll be notified, but she hasn't been notified yet, so I'm not going to say who it is. And we are going to add a halftime library clerk. And then it looks like Carl got knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked off.
He's coming back.
There it is.
So part-time library clerk, and we already have a pool for that. So we know who it's going to be, and it will be assuming that person still wants it, and it'll be a halftime page, and we will then eliminate that halftime page position. So that one's not going to be backfilled.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, anniversaries, Matt, you guys asked for those. Matt, 19 years this month. let's see, Stan Jolly, who works in technical services, 20 years. And Robert, do you remember the other one? Was it Ellen? Can't remember off the top of my head, and I will fix that while we're talking.
Okay. Is there any other?
No.
Okay. Then on to old business. We have the patron ban, patron behavior policy. And everybody should have a copy of that.
Yeah, and I sent that out pretty quickly after the last meeting, per you guys' request for a look, and I don't think I got any written feedback on it. So it could go a couple of ways. So that the ban information could be, I'm sorry, it's Betty Jo is the other anniversary, 8 years, and she's right here, and probably
Oh,
like
okay.
steam coming out of her ears since I
Yeah.
forgot her.
Congrats, Betty Jo.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine.
So, I just put it, I tacked it on to the library, the rules, because it seems to fit, but it could be two separate policies. So that's one question. And then you guys had asked me to adapt, I think it's Carroll Stream Public Libraries, and that's the stuff that's in italics, but I did add some comments on there and some things I liked from other policies. So,
Okay.
So number 9, that you're,
Yeah.
I like the way we do it now, where it's at your discretion, and we they can appeal to us if they want.
Yeah, I'm with the city librarian instead of having to bring it to the board every time.
I'll adjust that language then.
Agree.
Yeah.
I like
I like the other one too.
I like all of the things that you added, even at the
Yeah.
back.
I'm in agreement with that.
Like I like all of those.
Mhm. Yes.
So where would you put those?
Do you incorporate those in somewhere else, or do you leave them at the back?
I mean, they could stay right there. I mean, unless there's a more logical place to put them. I hadn't given that part a whole lot of thought, to be honest with you.
I would say library staff are authorized would go with the other. There's another that they can tell them to leave.
Like number 5,
Mhm.
Yeah.
the right to request to see identification.
Yeah, because I think that's better for staff. It's more clear than just leaving it at the end.
On 4, I don't know, 4 and 5. 4 says library personnel. Is that the same as library staff?
Yeah, I just saw that.
So
Yeah.
that should probably change.
Staff.
Yeah.
Okay. The incident, if it's a longer one, then I would say potentially after 7 or 8, maybe,
So,
or after 9, because 9 would be the city librarian has the right to extend, or let's see, the city library. Oh,
yeah, here's what I mean about me not being good at editing PDFs. Everything disappeared now.
I think if you,
I think the last, any person who is excluded from the library, that stays at the end, don't you think?
yeah, I would say the last one.
If an incident is a repeat offender, code of ethics, a year.
Thanks, Sinbad. That's
I'm just gonna put notes of what to do, and then I'm gonna have Matt fix it later. So. All right, so this is. All right,
So supervisors, this is just a suggestion from you, supervisors in the first bullet point, supervisors are authorized to ban the patron for a week. Is that what we do now?
No.
No.
No, nobody's authorized to do more than a 1-day ban than.
Except you.
Me or Robert when he's serving as deputy.
Okay.
Okay, so then we can change that.
Mhm.
Let me put some notes here because I'm not doing a good job with the editing. So this one will move to 5.
Library staff. Okay, so 10 says the library is not required. Is that the library staff, library personnel, the library, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or the librarian? I don't know what goes there.
Nah,
So
I would say the head librarian, or where's that, what's that term?
Rick, you should be able to turn that PDF into a Word document. If you feel like it.
yeah, I'm not sure I do that either, to be honest with you.
You just go to file and,
I probably got the original Word document somewhere though, so I think that might be I did start it in it.
I would say 10 would be the city librarian.
file, export to Microsoft Word. Up one. See if that works. Save it.
I think that went to my email.
No, it's working on it. Well, it might have saved in your email. I don't know. Is that your computer?
Here it comes. Nope. All right, so we wanted to move this to number 5.
It's still showing your PDF, just so you know. It's like frozen, it looks like.
But I'm in
As long as
we-
you're in it, that's fine.
Yeah, we can't see you, but you're doing it.
But I can see your face, so, you know, part of it's working.
Now do you see the Word document?
Yep.
All right, so I moved that one bullet point to number 5, changed library personnel to library staff, and I kind of lost track of changes after that. I'm sorry.
The 10 is right. You did the city librarian. That's good.
Yeah, okay.
Did we have supervisor somewhere?
Susan, did you mention supervisor or something?
Yeah,
Supervisor.
it was in the first bullet point. It was just a suggestion that Rick liked from some other policies. So
Here.
Yep.
I don't know if,
I think that would be okay. I trust our supervisors to do that and do that appropriately. And sometimes it'd be nice for them to have that in their pocket. If it doesn't work, we can always stop it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're making this all one document, correct, with this first page? We're not gonna have two separate documents.
Right, it's just the way it's laid out.
No, Rick had asked, do you want to keep it all together?
Whether you want to, see, this is a current policy. What? Excuse me, the library use guidelines are a current policy, and the rest of the stuff is completely new. And it could be a separate policy, or it could be tacked on like I have it, so.
I would say make it same
Me
policy.
too. Keep it all the same, keep it all in one document.
Yeah, I think it's nice that way they know, here's the rules and here's what may possibly happen with
Right.
all in one place.
Okay. So we're good with this document to be presented at the next board meeting, correct?
I think so. Did you move the incident? You moved that second one? Like, do we just need to delete?
What second one?
The second paragraph of the last page. Or, yeah, so if an incident is a result of a repeat offender.
The three at the very end. Yeah,
So the second one would go, I thought,
If
like, we wanted to move it to like after like 8 or 9. Cause that's like, so if you do this, you get a week. If you do this, you get a month. If you do this, it could be up to a year.
Yeah, that's the natural progression is what you're
That's
saying.
like, yes, that's like the way my brain was thinking of it.
Mhm.
The last paragraph's perfect, like where it is.
so you can make that not, yeah, all part of 9 or
Yeah.
Mhm.
like
I-
9.
or-
You don't have to renumber everything, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it could just be, I mean, bullet points really. I would say bullet points because you could choose any of these depending on the situation.
It's just under 9, yeah. And then that stays, right?
Yeah, that one's the last paragraph.
That just stays, yeah.
So number 10, or it could be, added to the last paragraph.
You mean all that should go together?
Yeah, any person who's excluded from the library will be notified by writing, or it should go before that.
Well, we talk about exclusion.
Oh,
up here,
wait.
so.
So wait. So 11 is on the left side, bottom right.
Yeah, that's when it got all wonky when I made it a word.
Yes. So that's why it looks
That's what we
weird.
were changing to, this, it would be still be the board would be who gets,
Yes. Are they any redress for grievance must be submitted in writing? So are we really requesting patrons to submit it in writing?
I honestly wouldn't think that would be fair for all patrons.
Yeah, so I would say that whole thing could just be taken out, right? Because the last part is saying that they can appeal. And then we could just put,
I agree. So 11 could just be completely done away with, and anybody
then-
included
Mhm.
will be notified and has the right to appeal by requesting a hearing before the Board of Trustees.
and then you will,
Notice, but it does say written notice. So,
We'll give them written notice, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
I would say I would say no.
No, what? No,
We don't need that last sentence.
what, we don't want to have some kind of record of it
Well, yeah. I mean, so,
in writing or, well,
because like Miss Byers, she didn't request in writing, did she?
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe any of the three who have come before you have done so in writing. They've asked verbally.
Well, yeah, but should we require that they do so?
That, I mean, that's the question, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
Mm,
mean, I don't know if that's
Well,
fair for people.
I can certainly put it in writing, and I do, you know, so when somebody, I'm not sure that all of them would be,
It doesn't have, well, the thing is, I'm either way, but it doesn't have to be elaborate. I would just like to have,
sure.
you know,
Well, and I would like to know the situation ahead of time, like,
Yeah, I don't think it's unusual at all to request if they are going to ask the board to reconsider something, that they put it in writing. They don't have to mail it or whatever. They can just
well,
hand it.
or Rick can, you know, either the patron can request by writing, or Rick can communicate the request in writing.
well, let me just play devil advocate. Rick's gone and somebody else comes along and they're not really a nice librarian. And we
Yeah.
have we don't know.
Mhm,
We have no idea.
mhm.
I would
Carol's
say
on
have
the
it.
other end.
I agree. I
What's
agree.
it, Carl?
I was gonna say having it required to be done in paper, which is kind of just, I won't say discriminatory, but it's hard for some people. I mean, obviously they're going to the library in the first place, for instance, to use the printing services, to use the computer services, and maybe they don't have anywhere else to go to do that specifically, or at least, you know, within their economic attainability. So I would say orally should probably be an option. Not probably. I think should definitely be an option.
Yes.
I think orally is an option, but I'm saying to protect the individual from a librarian that is just going to blow them off. If we have something in writing, then we have a paper trail and say, hey, Rick, why didn't you present this to us? It was brought to our attention and it was never addressed.
Mhm.
As
So-
opposed to Rick's word against the
Well,
combat.
I would assume that we require a second person to be present for the, you know, for that and or them signing off on it. I guess if you sign, I'm not sure.
I don't think there's a requirement that there be a second person.
Well, I see Carl's point, and it's actually where I was initially, but I'm thinking it's possible that, that it is maybe even more fair to say, we recommend, either by sending something to that address or sending an email to board at Decatur Library, that's really, because I don't get those. I mean, if there's an email sent to board@decaturlibrary.org, that just goes to you guys. It doesn't come to any library staff. But so what do we do for somebody who's illiterate? Because it may be surprising, but we get plenty of people in the library who are. We do rent, we do check out DVDs, CDs, other things that are literary. So do we want to just handle that on a case by case basis, or put something in policy about it? That's
I think it's equitable to at least give the option to present it. I mean, because not everybody can write and not everybody has access to email or, not everybody has access. So
That was great point, Sam. Great point.
so having it in the policy helps treat everyone fair. And so if we have that, if someone needs to present it verbally, if we want to make the requirement that it be in writing, that's fine. But maybe someone who wants to make that appeal and needs assistance, we provide, two people have to, sign off on it and someone has to read it back. So like someone would write out the whatever they were going to write, and then another person verifies and reads it back to that person as, is this what you said?
We only remind me, Lattimore did what? How did he come to the board? Or
If I recall correctly, he called, he gave me a telephone call and requested it.
and then the last gal that came just called as well?
I believe so. And the first guy, this was a couple of years ago. He had been coming to the library for a while. He'd been banned, got a lifetime ban, and then he'd been coming back and nobody really noticed or remembered his ban. And somebody pointed it out. And so I talked to him and explained to him. And he's like, he started telling me the same things he eventually told the board. And I said, your appeal process is to come to the board. So all 3 times it's been verbal.
Do you fill out, other than them coming to the board, that obviously was in the meeting notes or minutes or whatever, is there any paper trail that they have come to you?
No. I mean, just simply putting it on the board agenda, and I send you guys the initial patron report so you can read that. But what you're reading and writing is our version
Correct.
of what happened.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Just, in real estate, everything's got to be in writing. There's got to be a paper trail to it. And I just want to protect the people that are actually filing the complaint.
Right.
You're right. It's when you write a policy, it's not for the people that are in the room. You write a contract, it's not for the people in the room. It's for anybody. And it could be that I could just be dismissing these things.
Well, how about if we just have a simple form that says they request to speak to the library board? Do we have something like that? And then it's just a form that they.
Right, they just sign it or put it, like they could call and say, hey, Rick or Mr. Librarian, I'd like to speak to the board about getting reinstated. Come on in. And then when they come in, they just sign the thing or put their X or whatever, and then they're in talking to the board.
If they're banned, they can't come and sign it.
No, the day that they come in and speak to the board or whatever, we just have it right on file. Is that what you're talking about, Susan, or what are you talking about?
Kind of, yes. I'm just trying to make it simpler. I mean, I think we're making it harder than it needs to be.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page about
Right.
what-
I just don't want it to be, it has to be in writing and then we exclude a certain amount of patrons.
Show you what I've written here and see if. So what I wrote is that you can get a hearing, provide such hearing is requested by written notice, addressed to, or emailed to, I should put or here, or emailed to the board, or hand delivered to the library. Exceptions can be made for oral requests.
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. That's
Okay.
way simpler than we were making it.
Yes to everything.
Yeah.
Or email, there needs to be a space there. Anyway.
I'll get that.
Carl? Are we
Hey,
all?
Carl, you're muted.
Sorry, I lost connection. What did you say?
Are you good with that?
With the policy as I read it, yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we are going to, is there any other, Samantha, do you have anything else to say about this or any changes or?
No, I just, just take out the numbering because we don't need it to be numbered. And then the library, that can be done later. And yeah, I think that's good. I think.
Are we ready?
I'll get it formatted.
Okay, so are we ready to present this to the full board next time?
I would say yes.
Okay, then I need a motion stating that we're going to present this to the full board with our recommendation next time.
I'll move.
A second.
Okay, any more discussion? No? Okay, Samantha,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We will have that next time. Okay, number 2 is the city librarian performance evaluation process. And we're going to have a discussion about that. And Susan might be leading that.
Yes. I really don't have anything to report on that, except that Michael and I are reviewing some options, and we're going to be getting together and talking about it. And we will have something to present to committee by the end of the year for a process. Okay?
Yep.
And Rick, remind me again, when was your last review?
It was January 2019.
Okay. Okay, so
We're on
maybe we'll
time.
try to get this done January, you know.
Okay, that's good. Number 3 is the equity, diversity, and inclusion. We have discussion items on that.
Robert, has the committee met?
No, the committee has not met. I've
Okay.
spoken with, actually, I was speaking with one of the reps, Sarah, just a few minutes ago when I was off the meeting. And we're still waiting on Jerome. And of course, she said that, with everything going on around the country, they've been extremely busy. They've gotten a lot of calls for proposals, but she'll have us something. She'll try to have something in the mail, in our email, probably tomorrow or by latest Monday. So last we heard from when we had our meeting, the rep from Deetta Jones and Associates, they were going over the some of the services that they offer.
Mhm.
And he was going to give us a packet and to just kind of show us what they offer and what they do when they're working with libraries.
Okay, thank you, Robert.
Mhm.
Okay, is there any other things that we need to address here, Rick? Or does anybody else have any other? Okay, then I'm going to entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll move.
Second.
Carl, second. All right. All those we don't have to do this one by one, do we?
Yeah, we
Susan
did.
or Samantha,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Susan.
Yes.
Okay.
Carl, congratulations.